Good afternoon and welcome to the Apocalyptic Knitter podcast. My name is Naomi and I come to you from West Yorkshire, where I live with my husband, my young son and our cat. If you are a new viewer, welcome. This podcast is mainly about knitting and crochet, with a little bit of my shared love of all things apocalyptic and zombie, and a bit of budgeting tips for the whole situation that we're all going through now. If you are a returning viewer, hello and welcome back, and thank you so much for your continued support. And it's been lovely to get a couple of messages saying when you podcasted again, which is really nice. I know I've left it a few weeks. It's just been a really busy few weeks and I've really wanted to kind of smuggle it in. So I'll come back to that in a sec. I must admit I'm really starting to enjoy it now. I think I was really quite nervous the first time or two, and I feel like I'm finding my confidence with it all, with recording, which is really good, because like everybody, I hate listening to myself when I'm talking, and when you hear that playback, and that kind of puts me off. But I thought, well, do you know what, I speak to 100 people every week and they hear what everyone else hears as well, so I'm just gonna have to suck it up. Anyway, I think one thing that I've been enjoying is finding names for the episode, like titles. So I've been trying to see if I can keep it to apocalyptic themes, just for like a bit of fun. So I've been wondering what to call this third one, and I have an idea. So I thought, right, okay, let's go for that. Where have I been the last 3 weeks? Well, we've had a couple of long weekends away visiting family at different parts of the country, which was really nice. As I said, I don't know about anyone else, absolutely fed up with all the rain, and I think we were really quite lucky, because when we got to the places where we were going, when we were driving, it was raining, which you're not bothered if you're just doing the journey, you're not missing anything. And then when we had like a couple of hours, we went to the beach and it was bright and sunny and windy, but it stayed dry when we needed it to. And then when we nipped in somewhere to eat, it was raining again, but we were undercover. So I think we were just, and I think when you're on holiday, it's different, because you just kind of, well, I look at it as I think, well, I'm not at home cooking and cleaning, and I'm not at work, so just try and make the most of it, whatever it is. So it has been a bit of a mixed bag the last couple of weeks. So there's been celebrations with family, like big birthdays and catching up with everyone, and we've sadly had like a celebration of life to attend to, which was really, it was nice seeing everybody, but for a sad reason, kind of thing. So yeah, and then as I say, getting back home, just catching up with admin of like life admin and around the house, and then all of a sudden all this rain came, and I've not been able to get out into the garden to like tame the jungle, and everything's just, put it this way, I'm good at growing weeds apparently. I don't know if there's anyone like any gardeners that listen in, or anyone that knows a bit about gardening, but I cannot for the life of me get rid of this black spot that I've got on these roses. I know that I'm digressing, I will come to knitting in a minute, but I've been picking off all the affected leaves till Kingdom Come, and it's looking better, but they still grow back. So I don't know if I might just kind of wait till the end of the season and really cut them really quite down and just treat them that way, and then hopefully next season we shall see. Anyway, what knitting have I been up to? So I've finished a couple of the knitting projects because they were for the family that we were going to see. So I can't show you some of the actual finished objects here because they are now with the recipients. Now my young son is of preteen age and is probably a lot more tech savvy than me, and he is happy wanting to help edit this one. So I'm hoping by the time this goes on I might have some pictures inserted here. We shall see. Well, anyway, I also want to say a big thank you for all the feedback for the logo that was designed by my husband using AI, and he was really quite flattered. I think he got more feedback than I did from the actual podcast. But no, I really absolutely loved the logos. Something that I wanted and kind of had in mind. So where are we? So finished objects. I think last time I recorded, I'd either finished or just about finished the sock tube socks, and I just needed to weave the ends in. Now the person who I did the sock tube socks and those gorgeous greeny blue with purple contrast heels for the same recipient, and there was different sizes. So the ones that I 100% knit, I did them with 64, so 32 each side width, but the sock tube I think was like a 36, so that's 72, do the sums. And I wanted to kind of see, I wanted to try it on because I wanted to see how it actually fit her, if one was too slouchy or if the other was a bit too tight. Because I do knit a lot of socks for her. And so yeah, so it was the 32 stitch count one that she preferred. So I need to write that down somewhere in my little book. So yeah, so they got handed. I also finished those purple socks that I'd done. I think I was on the second sock at the last one. So these were with the West Yorkshire spinner. They did like it's like a fake Fair Isle pattern that was put through. Don't know why I'm showing you the invisible sock there. So they got handed it out in person as well last week. So they were happy. The litmus cowl as well, that was quite close to the finish line on that one. So we went down to Devon Friday, travelled back on the Monday, and I literally handed them over on the Monday morning as we were saying goodbye. So on that one, I felt as time was getting on, I was worried that I was gonna run out of time and just do like a shortened version of it, but I managed to kind of plough through in the evenings. So it was the full size that wrapped around twice. So I was quite pleased with that. Did not enjoy the Kitchener finish at the end, but that's me. I'm not a fan of Kitchener stitch at all, but I like the finish, so it's all seamless and everything. So it is worth it to kind of get it done. And I think what it is the needles that I was using, I don't think the cable length was as big as I wanted. I think I needed a longer length to do the proper magic loop, whereas this one wasn't quite round enough to fit all the stitches on. But yeah, and then I didn't have another, when I picked up the stitches from the provisional cast on, which I didn't do, I just did a normal cast on with some waste yarn because I don't like I know, I cheat everywhere. So I just picked those up with like a completely different size needle because we were packing and I knew I had to finish it, so I just grabbed it. So I thought a sock needle, even though I needed 3.5 mil, I thought a sock needle is still something. So I don't know if it was that made the kitchen experience even more bleh. But it was done, I sewed in the ends and that was finished off, and I'll come back to that later because I will be talking about the Little Miss Carol a bit later on. But they absolutely loved it. I'm hoping to get a little picture of them wearing it soon, but we shall see. So what have I got on the needles? What are my whips I've got to show you? I hit a bit of a stall with the Aran sweater. So last time I recorded, I'd done the back, done the front, and I'd done one of the sleeves. And then I had a bit of a break from it because I was working on all these socks and the ones which had deadline. This deadline is only, I think, I want to get it done in time for the person for like the autumn, so kind of September, October kind of a time really, when it kind of gets cold. And I think last week or so I kind of cast on the rib just to kind of get it started. I've gone for a longer rib because I want them to be able to like fold it back on the wrist, or if they want to kind of pull it up over the hands. And I was that busy watching telly or whatever I was doing that I actually overshot it and knit about four rows too many and had to tinker it back, so there you go. I picked this up last night, I think it was, or yesterday, and I've not been able to put it down. So much so, that's where I was up to. I've done almost all of it. So I'm just lining it up against the other. So that's where we are. So I've only got about another 4 or 5 inches to do on that one really. I've almost finished that ball and I've got, I think I've got 2 balls of yarn left. I thought I had 3. That might be 2 actually. But I'm not fretting at yarn chicken just yet. I think that it'll be spot on actually. So yeah. So I find usually the second sleeve you really get caught on Sleeve Island and it's just boring. And I don't know if it's the pattern that's just made it a bit more, or the fact that it's Aran on size 5mm needles and it just feels like I'm chomping away. And I think as well because it's got a 4-row repeat on the pattern, you like to kind of think, oh, I'll just do another 4 rows, and all of a sudden that's another couple of centimetres, isn't it? So that is that. And I keep forgetting to mention the bags. So this project bag is by Bertie and Poppet. It's quite cute. It's got some London buses and stuff on there. And I forgot, I lost it. There was like a disc, a really pretty wooden disc tag. I've lost it, sorry. So that's that one. I'm also really excited to be able to show you my test knit as well, because I think it was kind of under wraps at the moment, and then we've got this chat on Discord with the designer, and she mentioned yesterday that feel free to share any pictures on social media, so I did. And I don't know if it's because it's a really bold pink that the camera seems to woof. But and also I think the knitting, you know, you scrunch it up in the bag, so it seemed to be, when I was trying to it's got some really, really pretty detail on the yoke, but the picture that I posted wasn't showing its true beauty. But I think once I block it and stretch it all out, then you'll see. Obviously, I don't want to give too much detail away, but I will say the stitch detail, the stitch pattern of the yoke, I've been knitting for about 35 years, I know, from birth, and I've never ever come across this technique of stitch before, so hats off to you, Ellie, that is fab. Are you ready? Are you ready? So I really like it. It's going to be, so again you can see the detail there. Oh, it actually shows up a bit better, doesn't it? I really like the colour, the brunette. I do wear a lot of pink, and I have to be careful, I don't want to kind of give too much details away. But it is, as I say, it's a 4-ply pattern. It's on slightly larger needles, so it's not like too painstakingly slow to work up. It's curling up now as well. Let's see if I can show you. Oh. So I'd say, I was going to say I was about 2 or 3 inches away from the rib, but then I was talking with Ellie at the designer whose designer is Ellie at Curio Stitches. I paused there because it was Curio Yarns, but she's changed it to Curio Stitches, Curio, Curio Stitches. And so she's, this is a test pattern, and she said, because obviously I'm quite a bit taller, she said to add the length on that I want and will wear, and then I'll just kind of tell her how many inches I kind of added on. So there we go. So a split for the sleeves. As I say, I've done a big chunk of it. I did about another 1.5 inches yesterday. And do you know what I do? And it's a bit weird, but I like to, if I've got like really, really long rows, and sometimes my speed kind of just drifts a bit, I like to set the stopwatch on my phone to see how long it takes me to do a row, and then I do the lap thing to see if I can beat my next score. So there you go. Just a little bit of a motivational tip there if anyone's got any blocks of stockinette that they want to do. Not quite ready to do the sleeves yet, but to be honest with you, I still think it's not too uncommuter friendly, I think, because it's now stockinette. Yardage wise, I'm doing all right. I'm only on, I think this is the 3rd 50-gram ball I've got, and I think I thought I had 10 balls, but I think I've actually got 14. So I've got loads of, I can knit 5 of these jumpers, I think, with it. Anyone want one? So yes, so I'm really happy with that. That's kind of coming on. I think I've got to get this done by September. And how crazy is it? What day is it now? 14th of August. How's it got to 14th? Is it 14th of August today? 13th today. You would say it's middle of August. How's it middle of August already? Anyway, I've done it again. This bag, I've had for ages actually. Little grey girl. I do quite like these zips. Anyway, what else? Oh, I cast some socks on for me because it feels like my whip pile is not complete without a pair of socks on the needles. So these are for me. Are you ready? How flippin' gorgeous are these? I don't know if you can see Oh yeah, you can see. Sparkle, sparkle. I absolutely love these. So the heel, toe name, it's a toe, are in like a nice charcoal grey. It's a high twist from Rusty Ferret Yarns. And the self-striping is, I got it from a D-stash, but I believe it's Easy Knits. I've done my first heel. I tend to do Fish Lips Kiss heel as my standard. And then I think I remember measuring it, weighing the ball before I started. I think there was 64 grams. So I think I should be safe to do another repeat of the colourway. So I'm about to start into the orange now. So if I do another 1 or 2 of those, you get a decent way up the foot on there. I do like anklet socks, but for me they seem to slip off. So I like to have a bit more about the sock. So they are for me. And this is a bag I made myself. Got cute little camper bands on. And I think they are my main whips that I've got on. I have to make some notes here. Yes. Just have a slurp of tea. Right. Next one, hopes and dreams. So these are what I want to make in the future, what ideas I've had. Now, when I've been away visiting family, the family that I see are the ones that I do lots of knitting for, kind of thing. And I've come away with lots of inspiration, because I know I do knit a lot for other people. That is just who I am. But I'm making myself another jumper this year. That pink one is for me, and socks, so I am getting plenty in for myself. When I spoke that I was going to talk later about the litmus cowl. Now, I don't know if anybody else is thought ways think like mine, but I really like it when you have a project with using lots of colours and lots of minis, and I love it when you use up your scraps. And I've still got bits and bits and bits. And this was the grey wool that I was using, which is quite silky, but although this is probably only about 20 grams left, I do have another full skein of it. And I was thinking, although I've used up fair bits, it's just made those oddments smaller. And then I think we were driving back, or it was the next day, I got a message from the recipient's daughter saying, "Oh, Mum absolutely loves the cowl." I thought, oh, brill. And she goes, and so do I. She goes, if you get, that's what she said. She goes, if you get the inclination to make another, let me know, with a winky face. And you know what? I'm quite happy to. I'm not gonna say I'll get it done for this winter, because the sweaters are my priority. But I thought, you know what? I'm gonna keep these oddments with the grey in the bag ready, and then it's all set up. And I'm also going to keep the needles in here as well. So that's one. Now, I mentioned it was to me it's like the year of the jumpers. I tend to either make countless numbers of socks, or, well, that's kind of me really. But I've had a few requests for jumpers this year. I say requests, it's me saying, oh, I'd like to make you a jumper. So the Aran, the cream one, that's almost finished. I think another evening or two and the sleeve will be done, and then it'll be the neckband and so. No, that's crazy. So I think that'll probably be done in a week. And then I want to finish or really get some momentum going on the test knit as well, now that I've cleared some decks. Now, another sweater that I've promised for this autumn is a family friend who I've known for years and years and years. She was a friend of my mum's, and she suffers with Raynaud's disease. Is it disease syndrome? Raynaud's syndrome? So it's like a circulation issue, and I kind of wanted to do another Aran jumper because I thought it just, something about the Aran wool really just, pure wool really, although it seems to sometimes be a bit more coarse, and it really insulates well. And she's got quite a petite fit, so I thought, I'm sort of thinking it'll be a quicker knit. Now I went to, it's not Spring into Wool, it's the other one. So Leeds Wool Festival at Armley Mills. Yeah. And there's a chap there who sells these large hanks of pure wool. And they're not labelled, not wound up, but it'll be like a big hank of wool for like a tenner, and it'll be, you'll say how much yardage is in this, and you'll go, oh, about 300-400 grams, something like that. So it's quite, there's an element of risk kind of thing on there. So I went for 2. Now he didn't have Aran, he only had DK, but it was too good an offer for me to pass up on. I would have liked cream, like the traditional cream colour, and it's more of an off-white, but I thought, do you know what, I'm sure she's not going to be bothered, as it's nice and warm. It's definitely pure wool, it just smells really sheepy, which is nice. So I want to, while the pattern is really fresh in my mind, and it's quite it looks quite complicated, but it's quite an easy to remember pattern. I do need to swatch it. I know. So I'm gonna swatch, I'm gonna knit, I'm gonna use it on the needles that I would do for DK. So I'm gonna do it on 4mm needles. So I'm gonna do a 4mm swatch, and then just kind of, I was thinking about this the other night, because you do have to do certain mathematics, don't you, to kind of adjust your pattern, and I just couldn't think of my life for me how you did the conversion. But now I need to knit up. I need to knit up the square to get my gauge, and then you measure what the actual measurements are on the sizes of the pattern that you have, and then do yours accordingly. Yeah, I need a quiet evening to work that one out. But first of all, I'll do my swatch tonight. So there we go. I do have a week off coming up in a couple of weeks, and if I need to do anything tricky like that, I tend to leave it to my week off so my head's a bit more clear. So there's that one, and I'm pretty sure, because I think she's like the equivalent of like a size 6 or 8. So I don't think it'll be a massive knit. But yeah, we'll get that again. I've got the measurements anyway. So I've got that one. So you mentioned the litmus card before. I've got I want to do a shawl. This is the yarn that I'm choosing to do for the shawl. It's for my auntie. So the navy socks that I did not so long ago, they're for my uncle, who the last year or so hasn't been very well. And some people show their love with food, like they'll bake cakes for people or casseroles. I knit for people. That's my love language, apparently. So I kind of wanted to make her a little shawl as well, and her daughter, my cousin, so that she saw reds and purples and stuff. And I have this really beautiful sock set combo. Isn't that nice? So this is like a garnety red, but that kind of, the tones are in there as well. And this is by the same designer who do the test it for, Curious Stitches. And this is called a Book of Shadows, and that is 85% merino, 15% nylon. So I've not got a pattern in mind for this, but I kind of wanted to do something. I kind of wanted a shawl pattern where you wade the yarn, knit so far till you get to 50% and then decrease or something. So I'm still a bit unknown about that, but I have got the yarn set aside. I think I'm also going to do a little bit of a small shawl in this one for my cousin. This is another one of Curious Stitches. I'm really I'm not sponsored by her or anything, but this is the Talisman colourway, and I've used this before. Really, one of my favourites actually. So what I did when I went to see my cousin in Wales, one who I do lots of socks for, I kind of brought a load of different coloured skeins, and I said to the kids as well, choose a colour that you like and I'll do some socks with. So the daughter picked these for a colour combo, and this is Spice by Easy Knits, and this is a really pretty one from Dusty Dimples, called Love Yourself. And I'm really pleased that she just wanted the contrast on this, because you know you're secretly thinking, oh, I wouldn't mind a pair of these socks myself. As because it's just kids as well, they don't use that much yardage, so I'm gonna save the rest of that for me. And who else is there? And the son really loved this hot pink, and I do. I think this is a Knit Global. Yeah. And he kind of wanted like a lavender contrast, which I didn't have in the bag, but I thought, I bet you I've got some kind of lavender colour to go on there. So that's them. Must not promise for Christmas, just in case I don't deliver. What else is there? Quite like that. It's like a bit of a self-striping one. Who I believe, so I think this is called Circus Top or something. And I bought it a few years ago, as you do. And Bryony Bears, who I follow on Instagram, I just finished a pair of socks, and I was like, that colourway looks familiar, and it was this one, so I thought, ooh. So I put that in the bag somewhere. So that is my inspiration of what's coming up, which what I like is I like having a few on the go, and I also like having a few to kind of aim for, and then depending what mood I'm in, then I can just cast something on. But obviously these are all in skeins, and I've not wound them yet, so that could be my blocker for a while. So I'll have to have some kind of winding party at some point. So yeah, I also feel a bit more on top of things, because this weekend was the first weekend at home for a few weeks, so I was able to kind of clean the house top to bottom, because it was just felt a bit filthy. Which, to be honest with you, it probably wasn't that bad. It just needed a good floor mop and hoover. But you know when you've not done it and you feel like, oh. But I'm thinking after an hour, I thought, no, looks good again. And we had a day of sunshine, I know. So I thought, quick. So I did all my hand washing of all my jumpers, and they dried, that's the word, on the washing line. So they smell nice. They smell of coconut. There you go. In case you wanted to know. So yeah, so I feel a bit more on top of things. Oh, there was another thing in my hopes and dreams. So I wore this. Well, I've worn it so, honest to God, I've worn this so many times. I wore this when I was on holiday in Wales, and my cousin, yes, I love that. And me, I cannot help myself. Do you want me to make you one? I know. But she's got like a big birthday coming up in like 3 years' time, and she said if you made it for that, she goes, I'd be over the moon. So I thought, that is fine. Pace them out. So yeah, I've no yarn acquisitions to show you. I'm on, as I say, I'm on a bit of a tight budget the next few months, because we've got some big bills coming in. So what I've told myself is if I kind of get the urge to buy yarn, as we all do, I'm trying to like channel it right. There is another jumper, another jumper that I'm working on in the pipeline, but I've not got all the wool for it yet. And this is the Robinia sweater, Robinia, Robinia, and it's really pretty. It's by a Scandic dyer, and it needs there's a few different fibres going on. It's quite a bulky but fluffy 2-colour pattern. Now I bought the tweed for it. There was there was like a bit of a shopping list that the pattern suggested, but to be honest with you, it was quite pricey. So I've tried to kind of buy it part commercial but with wool content, just to kind of bring a bit of the cost down. So I think they suggested, I don't know how to pronounce this, I'm sorry, Isager tweed, Isager, and Vinny Isager. So there's a tweed that's in 3-ply, and then another navy merino which is in 2-ply. So if you've got a 3-ply and a 2-ply, I've then substituted that for like a DK tweed. And so I bought some, when I was at Cold Spring Mill, they had some Haworth tweed, so I bought that. So next on the shopping list is a silk mohair, like the really like lace weight one. So the colourway I'm looking for is navy. Now I've had a bit of a snoop on Ducky Darlings. I can see that they've got like a really good navy. So if the pennies are doing all right and I feel an urge at next payday, I may get that. And then it's not adding to stash, it's for a project. So we shall see. The only other thing that I'm looking at, I mean, I've got a few months to buy this as well. The only other thing that I've got to look for is the cream colour, which is, it's like an Aran or a worsted, thicker than a worsted actually. It's between an Aran and a chunky weight, but it's 55% alpaca, and 45% organic Pima cotton. So I don't know if I will be able to get that commercially. I might have to save some pennies, or just kind of spread it out on that one. They come in bowls of 50 gram, and I need 3. So if anybody knows of any, I might have a look at drops, because sometimes drops do quite a lot of different fibre contents, don't they? So I'll have a little look. So that is all my hopes and dreams coming up. Gonna be a bit of a busy bee, really. That Rubinia sweater is kind of penciled in for a Christmas present. So I've got the test knit due early September. Then I've got the DK pure wool Aran substitute jumper. I want to get that done for like early November. So they're kind of spaced out, really. So yeah, so that's all my knitting stuff. Oh, I think there might be a knock on the door in a minute. Oh, it is. So I have to pause you for a sec.